This is the general structure. Okay. I told you this is the name taken from the place where the inventor of candlesticks operated his profession of trading. Dozy. What is a dozy? Dozy technically means open and close are the same. This was the original meaning of dozy. But we know that all the trading happens on the basis of probability. We do not have any specific, what we call as, there is nothing called certainty in the market, right? Everything is operated on the basis of probability. We trade on the basis of a probability that the price will go up. There is no certainty that price will go up or go down. So, taking into consideration the probability factor of the technical analysis, here we are not that much confined exactly that open price and close price are the same. If they are close when compared to the range of the day, if they are close, open and close are nearby, that is what we call as the dozies. So the first part, if you take it, there is a different name given to them called spinning tops. Okay, spinning tops are where the open and close is relatively, that means the real body is relatively small, but there is a shadow at the top and also a shadow at the bottom. Similarly, for a black candle also, the real body is small, but there are shadows on either side of the relative body. If you look at why the name came is, the children who play, nowadays I think you get these small tops where they spin like this and they keep rotating. What happens when it is rotating? You find only a small this thing in between, and there is slightly a shadow at the top and a slight shadow at the bottom. That is the same name they have given. Okay. Only when there is a body, slight body is visible, we call that as spinning tops. Here, please remember, this top has nothing to do with market tops. The top, what we are talking about, the toy, they are called spinning tops when we, when you spin a top, that's what they are talking about, is nothing to do with market tops, market bottoms type of things. And then the other set is a dragonfly is the name given, where the shadow at the bottom is longer relatively, and the real body is towards the upper half of the shadow, but the body is very, very small. It may be just open close at the same price, or it may be slightly different, but it is very small. And then you have gravestone, where price opened at a particular level, moved up during the day, went relatively higher, rather significantly higher, but did not sustain that up movement, came back and settled at the place it opened. If you look at it, it looks like a gravestone in the sense that in the grave, somebody, on the gravestone is kept something written about the person who is lying there, right? So that's how the name came for that, it's gravestone. And then there is something called a takuri, where there again, unfortunately, there is a long shadow at the bottom of that white candle. That is called a takuri, where there is a long shadow below, but there is no shadow on the upper side. Possible that it's sometimes a small shadow upper side is also possible, but there is another name for that. I think most of the Asian market calls it as the hammer. Asian market sometimes also refers this also as hammer, and US market calls as dragonfly. Different names people call, but what is important is try to understand how, and there is a shadow here. Okay, what does dragonfly?
Price.
Pardon? This one, these two.
The price goes on but reverses up.
Yeah. No, it opened, went down, but closed.
That means it came back.
It came back, but was not able to move beyond its open price. And similarly here it came back, but now it did not go all the way to the top where it the high of the day, but settled slightly below. And if you look at all the dojis, the moment a doji is there, whether with shadows or without shadows, the indication, the implied meaning of that is that the market is not able to decide which way it wants to move, either up or down. This is the understanding of the market. When we find a doji, either an exact doji like this or like this or this, or this way where the real body is small, it is an indication that the market is indecisive, whether it wants to go up, go down, or maybe move in the sideways for certain time. These things are not clear. But wherever you find this body, white or black, it indicates that if it is white or green, it is an indication that slightly bullish, and if it is black or red, it indicates that it is slightly bearish. But it is still indecision, but not that unlike the other candles, what we have seen here, like these ones. If you look at all these are considered bullish candles. All these are considered bearish candles. But when we come to this type of candles, we see it is not clear whether the market will go up tomorrow or the market will go down tomorrow. That is the indecision part. So that's why everywhere this is basically an indecision. These are also indecisions basically. But what happens, why I put as reversal here is that, say we take the example of a dragonfly, for example. What is the structure of the price that day when this bar actually formed? Price started at a particular point, went down during the day, and then tried to come back and settled at the open. It's not able to go up nor. So here what is indicated is that the price action of this day indicates that perhaps either a bottom or a top is formed. That means all the people who wanted to buy, they bought and the price, there is no demand above this. So what happens here is these are what we call as the reversal pattern. So I'll talk about reversal patterns in details. Doji is basically an indecision. Depending on the price action of the following day, the confirmation whether it is a actual reversal pattern or not is identified. So we have to wait for the price action of the following day. So these are all the very important popular reversal candles, and this falls into the category of what we call as the takuri. What we have seen where takuri is, that means either both sides or one side there is no shadow. So there are different names for that. The first one, there is a shadow here, so but there is no shadow above. That is a takuri. This is the black one, exactly the similar one, but the black one. And here, open and close are same, but price has gone down during the day significantly. And wherever this kind of body is there, this type of candles are formed, they are also referred to as the hammers, because it looks like a hammer. You have a wedge at the end and a long stick. So that's why it is also called a hammer. A hammer may have a shadow above or may not have. Normally what happens in the normal hammer you look at, there is something above the wedge, right? So that's why it is called, that's how the name came. That is nothing so specific about it. Some names are given depending on the structure. And here the difference, if you look at here, there is no shadow at the top. Here there is no shadow at the top on all the three. There is one is white, another is black, both with some kind of a body. The third one is without body. Second category is, they are similar to this except that there is a shadow above the real bodies. That is the only difference between the first set of 3 and the second set of 3. Both are called as hammers. And then the last one, what we call as the hanging man, the white one or the black one. Here also you have a big shadow. At the top, you may or may not be having a shadow. That is not important. Why it is called hanging man is that the name, in the market, there used to be a, what we call a cliche. What they used to say is that when a pattern like this was seen in the market and somebody wants to buy at the tops, perhaps that person has to hang because of the ensuing losses he has to suffer. Because these are the things, these two are so important even today. Like hanging man patterns, they find to be very, very significant reversal patterns, particularly when they are happening at the tops of the market. When we say tops of the market, it also presupposes that the market has gone up significantly, and there you find a pattern like this. I think maybe here we can look.
First one and
First one and
hanging man. Two, fifth. Yeah.
here it's
Seventh. Sorry.
this one. This one, the difference between these two is one is white body.
First one and seventh.
First one and seventh one.
Yeah. See
The
here.
Yeah, right. The
Only lower shadow.
No. What is the difference? Anyway, good question. Let us see. What is the difference between these two?
The body size.
Body size. If the body size is relatively large, for a hammer, body size should be lower. It's smaller, sorry, not lower. Body size should be smaller. When the body size is large, that means it almost comes to about 50% of the total range of that entire candle, including the shadows. That's the only difference between a standard hammer and a hanging man. Sir, I think we can look at some charts. Let me see if I put a chart here. No. Some candle chart. No, the idea is that if we see some of the charts here.
Do you have, sir?
Pardon?
Charts?
A couple of charts are there. But no, you can put a chart so that they can identify here something is there. Whatever chart you have cut, the chart, that is fine. Yeah. Right. Suppose, Suppose see here, this is one chart, and this one we have discussed, if you remember. What is that?
Hammer.
No,
Dragon
this
fly.
one.
That is
Sorry.
dragonfly.
And also, if you do, we don't identify it by the name, it is basically a dozy. Yeah, fine. Suppose here, this is what? This is what hammer or hanging man. Hammer is this, right? This is more a hammer. Yeah, this is also like
nearby. It's
nearby. Yeah,
easy.
right, yes. And then what is this? This is very clear.
But,
A smaller body, long lower shadow, and a small upper shadow. And here we have any idea what was that?
It is
This.
gravestone.
Gravestone, perfect. So if you look at the reversal patterns, why we call them as, once it happened, the way the price came down. And as I told you, I repeat that